Tonight, the Whyalla community comes together to tackle youth crime, and 3 Crystal Brook residents now millionaires after a cross Lotto win.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Police and the community gathered in Whyalla last night for a youth crime forum. A number of ideas were discussed, including raising funds to send troubled youths on a renowned educational camp.
Advocating for safer streets, nearly 100 locals attending a police forum in Whyalla discussing juvenile crime.
Good rundown on the issues that we're facing in the community as far as juvenile crime goes, and certainly what the police are doing about it.
Residents, police and community leaders gathered to discuss how to reduce crime rates.
It really emphasised that youth crime is a significant issue in Whyalla and that the crime statistics are reflecting that.
One idea is already in motion, the community looking to send some youth on Operation Flinders.
We're currently trying to raise money for Operation Flinders. Operation Flinders is a highly successful program that's been around for a long time in South Australia.
Community leaders say progress is being made.
With the great community support for us to access some funding through either state or federal governments to fund this particular program.
Inspector Hubbard says these projects aren't the silver bullet to reducing juvenile crime, but it's a step in the right direction.
Great to see so many people here tonight, and what that really emphasises for me is that there's a lot of care in this community. The people of Whyalla care about their community, they're very passionate about it, and they want to see it a safe place.
Police have also confirmed there'll be another information session in the coming weeks. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 33-year-old woman and a 16-year-old girl have been charged with assault after injuring a teenage girl in a cafe in Kadina on Tuesday. The pair allegedly approached the girl and assaulted her, causing facial injuries. Both were arrested a short time after the incident and have been granted bail. They're expected to appear in the Kadina Magistrates Court at the end of July. A 39-year-old Whyalla woman has been reported for drink driving after recording an alleged blood alcohol reading of 0.104 at 3 a.m. Tuesday morning. Police stopped the Hyundai sedan on Newton Street. Further checks revealed the woman's license was expired. The driver received an immediate loss of license and will appear in court at a later date. Healthcare professionals on the Eyre Peninsula have once again called on the state government to bring a psychologist to the region. They say hundreds aren't getting the support they desperately need.
Trying to tackle what health authorities warn is a growing issue, a lack of healthcare services leaving many without specialised support.
Prevention's better than cure, we're all told that, and it's really grinding on me that in this day and age, in this country, that youth on the Eyre Peninsula can't access a psychologist.
Kim Callahan wants the government to bring a psychologist to the Eyre Peninsula, a specialist he says many towns are crying out for.
When you think of the size of the Eyre Peninsula, there's a lot of youth that with a bit of intervention may not go down the path of doing wrong things or even worse things.
The Elliston councillor has raised concerns with his local MP, but Peter Trelaw says there's already private psychologists available in Port Lincoln.
If we were to expect the public system to provide psychological services, then of course somebody has to pay. So there certainly seems to be a deficit of services. Just how we resolve that, I'm not quite sure yet.
Mentally Fit EP have recorded over 250 people at risk on the lower EP, but warn the real figure is likely to be higher.
The more services we have, that's always a positive. And it's really important to know that different services work for different people as well. So to have a range of services available is really important.
If you or someone you know needs help, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
An aged care facility in Peterborough is a step closer to redevelopment after receiving 9 new bed licences. Officials say it'll allow for those in aged care to stay in their home region.
After several years of lobbying, Peterborough's Naylor Lodge has finally got its wish. It's received 9 federally funded bed licences, reaching its goal of becoming a 20-bed facility.
The allocation of additional residential aged care places for Naylor Lodge, which is very exciting.
Originally designed to operate as a low-care facility, the lodge has found itself operating at a much higher capacity. which has been attributed to an ageing population.
The facility doesn't really meet the needs of the clients that we are seeing coming in today with much higher needs.
The licences helping the lodge become one step closer to their dream of opening a new dementia-friendly facility.
We would like to see a facility that is best practice in terms of the needs of our older populations.
Peterborough's mayor has welcomed the news, saying keeping elderly residents close to their loved ones is critical for their well-being.
If people have lived here for all their lives and suddenly they're transported to another community just because the facts and figures don't stack up.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, new lights on the agenda for Broken Hill's Alma Oval, and 3 Crystal Brook residents scoop a major Lotto prize. Welcome back. The Alma Oval in Broken Hill is a step closer to having light towers installed around its playing surface. The city's mayor says council is investigating the cost of the project.
Let there be light.
The Alma Oval lighting's been substandard now for a number of years. In fact, the South Football Club first started talking to council, it's a council-owned facility, in 2012.
When it was announced Jubilee Oval would undergo a major redevelopment, its old, soon-to-be-replaced light towers were offered to council for the Alma Oval. That proposal was knocked back, with council concerned about the cost to install and operate them.
It was old technology, that's why they were being taken down, that you couldn't maintain them, they weren't LED, and there was issues about the poles and engineering.
Mayor Turley believes it's better to install brand new lights along with other upgrades.
Get our engineers in, we need to scope the project, we need to take to council the full cost. So there's no surprises. What's the timeline?
Council says it's consulting with Alma Oval tenants about the costs that come with night sport. The Footy League says the talks are a positive step forward.
Council have started the talks. We need to continue it. We need to put someone in place. We need some scoping. We need a feasibility report. Let's get the ball rolling.
Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
There are fresh concerns about a proposed wind farm south of Port Augusta, with DP Energy planning to increase the height of its turbines to 185 metres. This is 35 metres higher than originally planned, with some concern it could obstruct views of the iconic Flinders Ranges. Council says it'll write to the company to seek clarification. A committee aiming to increase Broken Hill's population says it's hoping to have a project researcher join its team. The group's goal is to boost the city's population to 25,000 by the year 2025.
A challenging goal, but it is achievable.
The town, as we all know, had 35,000 people here, so we can get another 7,000 or 8,000 people living in the Broken Hill region very quickly.
The 25 in 25 initiative was set up last year with a simple objective: to stop the declining population of Broken Hill and start increasing the figure. Mr. Nash says one factor is creating jobs.
Clerical office positions, hospitality are crying out for jobs, so there is plenty of opportunity. We just need to get out and sell ourselves as a community that this is a great place to live.
Unfortunately, it hasn't been smooth sailing since the group was established. They were encouraged by the state government to apply for funding for a full-time researcher to help with projects last November. Mr. Nash says they were expecting a commitment prior to the state election, but it never came.
It's been a really frustrating period of time waiting to see. We haven't been told no, but we certainly haven't been told yes. And
the 25 in 25 committee hopes to hear from the state government about the researcher role by the start of July. Patrick Ryankey, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Crystal Brook residents are feeling lucky after 3 locals scooped nearly $1 million in last weekend's Cross Lotto, the winning ticket being purchased at the local newsagents.
Who wants to be a millionaire? For 3 Crystal Brook residents, the dream has come true after a private syndicate took out $942,000 in Saturday's Cross Lotto. The winning ticket being purchased in a 50-game quick pick at Crystal Brook's news agency and giftware.
It was super exciting. We found out first thing Sunday morning. And our first thoughts were, well, we hope it's a local, and it's turned out to be a local.
There were 1 in 4 nationwide to share in the Division 1 prize. The trio of lucky locals wish to remain anonymous. However, the news agency says if they wish to come in, they have a surprise in store.
We've actually got a bottle of champagne out the back for them if they do come in and have a chat to us about it. So hopefully we'll find out at some stage.
Residents are elated to hear that a group of locals were the winners, saying it's good news for the town.
It was excellent because Crystal Brook's just a very nice country town to live in, and it just puts a bit of a focus on a lovely country town.
Though some felt they had missed out.
Great to see it come to the country area. It would have been better if it was me, but...
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Golf News.
I agree with the last person there. I wish it was me as well. Members of Port Augusta's business community have joined together to launch this year's Business Awards. Previous winners say the annual honour has rejuvenated their workplace.
They're the ones who tend to the needs of our beloved pets, but Red Gum vets Louise Absalom had no idea their service was so highly regarded throughout town. The practice took out last year's title of Most Outstanding Business.
It was an absolute honour to be recognised in that way across the board.
Since receiving the coveted silverware, she says the workplace has been buzzing.
We had a really strong team environment prior to the awards, but it's really brought the team much closer together.
The race for this year's awards has now begun, and Business Port Augusta says it's important to reward the tireless efforts of shopfronts.
People within those local small businesses work hard, and it's good to get some recognition.
It's an opportunity for businesses to start selling themselves and show the rest of the community what they really do.
13 categories are open, and this year will also see the return of the Shooting Stars Award, which helps fund Port Augusta's youngest and brightest.
A couple of them have already gone interstate, so look, it's already helping them get along a little bit extra boost into their career.
The awards night will be held in October. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our fishing experts will give us their tips, and Brett will have the weekend weather details. Hello again. The timber from Port Augusta's iconic Eastside Jetty, which was demolished months ago, could have a new lease of life. Mayor Brett Benbow is calling for community input on how to use the recycled wood, with council forming a working group.
Some are suggesting just the posts in the ground as a recognition of that jetty because it was here for a long period of time.
Applications to join will close next Wednesday. The Eyre Peninsula's West Coast Community Groups has won an award for one of its projects. They've taken out this year's Australian Men's Health Forum Award for its Rotary Wellness campaign.
It started as an aim of encouraging conversation around men's mental health. Now the Rotary Wellness campaign has been recognised as one of the state's best male-friendly health programs.
It took a while to get it off of the ground and also to work with, because it was 30 men across the EP, and also our local photographer Robert Lang.
The campaign winning the 2019 Australian Men's Health Forum Award in Adelaide. The initiative showcasing 30 images of local men who outlined how they stayed mentally fit.
I wanted to be the perfect student, perfect employee, perfect husband, father, everything, and just trying to get that balance of everyday life plus trying to deal with mental illness as well. It was a really big struggle.
West Coast Community teaming up with a Port Lincoln Rotary Club, helping encourage men to open up.
To be out there and talking to other guys, it was not only confronting, but it was rewarding for us as well.
It opened up those conversations that are sometimes hard to have and allowed that information to go out into our small communities on the EP and bring people together.
If you or someone you know is struggling, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Well done, everyone. Time to find out what fish are biting in the Spencer Gulf. Here's our experts with their tips.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips. Last weekend was just a fantastic weekend. Squid everywhere. Now, some of the guys have been saying they haven't been getting them, but I know the Eastern Shoal, top end of Wards Pit, that's where you've got to go. You'll pick yourself up some. Some snapper have been floating around the place too. If you sort of look around in the Port Germain Bay area or just around the 3rd, 4th Creek area, you should find yourself a good feed of fish. King George whiting have been a little scarce, but they are still there, so keep working up. And right about now, the water's cold enough so you can barely up to bring them in. great weekend coming. We'll see you then.
Bay Whalers fishing report this week. Certainly has been a fair few whiting hitting the table in the past few weeks. Best grounds have been down towards the Silk Grounds and also south of Whyalla, right down towards 8 Mile Creek and further again right down towards Cowlitz Landing and Menini has been some really good hot spots to try. Best times have been early morning on the flood tide and the first hour of the outgoing tide. There's also been some really nice squid around the same areas, some nice garfish hitting the table as well.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Well, over the past week the whiting have been a little bit slow with the full moon, but they should increase. There's also been some nice snook caught within Proper Bay, and there's been some yellowfin whiting around the Port Lincoln foreshore area. Moving over to Coffin Bay, our Monta has had some salmon, and the whiting fishing around Farm Beach has been really good. There's been a few gummy sharks in that area as well. Within the bay system at Coffins, whiting have been a little bit slow, but there have been some salmon trout. That's all for this week. We'll see you again with more fishing tips next week.
And now for a look at how the weekend weather is shaping up, here's Britt.
Thanks, John, and good evening. It's been cold and wet today. Port Augusta with a top of 16 degrees. It was 15 at Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Port Pirie 14, Broken Hill and Adelaide 13. To the satellite now, where we can see a ridge of high pressure over South Australia, with the low pressure system that was south of the Bight moving in over the state. That low will dissipate early tomorrow. Easterly winds on the Gulf at up to 15 knots, with seas at 1.5 metres, and sunrises creeping closer to 7:30. We can expect showers over most regions tomorrow, particularly the Eyre Peninsula. Port Augusta with a max of 16, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Woodna and Port Pirie 15, Coffin Bay, Corn, Cleve, Kadina and Adelaide 14, Broken Hill with another frosty morning and 13, Clare 11. Looking to the weekend now, with showers expected at Port Lincoln on Saturday ahead of a partly cloudy Sunday, both with tops of 15. Cleve, fine and 14 Saturday, sunnier on Sunday with a top of 15. Woodna, fine and 16 across the weekend. Whyalla and Port Augusta both fine and 15 on Saturday, Sunday sunny with maximums in the mid-teens. Kadina fine and 14 on Saturday, 14 for Sunday as well but with some morning frost. Port Pirie with tops of 15, partly cloudy on Saturday, clear and sunny on Sunday. Clare and Broken Hill both with frosty mornings ahead, those overnight lows dipping below 0 on the weekend. And John, tomorrow is Bring Your Dog to Work Day. Will we be seeing any furry friends in the studio?
One can only hope. Thanks for that, Brett. And that's your local news this Thursday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll have some updates later in the evening, but until then, enjoy your evening's viewing here on 7. On behalf of the team, it's good night.